Most people think stalking looks like a stranger hiding in the bushes outside your window. That image, the dramatic, obvious, cinematic version of stalking, is almost never what actually happens. Real stalking is slower, subtler, and far easier to dismiss as coincidence. It is the same car parked on your street 3 mornings in a row. It is the same face appearing at your gym, your coffee shop, and your grocery store in the same week. It is messages that feel just friendly enough that you cannot quite justify being alarmed. Most victims of stalking describe the early phase not as frightening, but as confusing. A slow accumulation of moments that each seem explainable, and together form a pattern that is not. By the time most people recognize they are being stalked, the behavior has been happening for weeks or months. I'm Asha. This is Safety Nest. Today I'm giving you the 7 warning signs and the 4-step protocol that changes everything. Stalking in the United States affects approximately 13.5 million people every year. 76% of victims know their stalker, a former partner, a coworker, an acquaintance, someone from their social circle. Only a minority of cases involve complete strangers. The behavior pattern is consistent across cases: monitoring, contact, intrusion, and escalation. Monitoring is the phase most people miss, the period where the stalker is gathering information about the victim's routine, relationships, locations, and patterns without the victim's knowledge. This phase can last weeks or months before any direct contact occurs. Understanding that monitoring precedes contact is the insight that changes how you read the early warning signs. Here are the 7 warning signs, in the order they typically appear. The first 3 are the ones people most consistently dismiss. Pay particular attention to those. Warning sign 1. Unexplained appearances. The same person appearing in multiple unconnected locations in your life. Your workplace area, your gym, your regular coffee shop, your neighborhood, without a plausible explanation for why they would be in all of those places. 1 appearance is coincidence. 2 is notable. 3 is a pattern. Warning sign 2. Unsolicited contact after being told to stop. Any person who continues to contact you after you have clearly communicated that you do not want contact is demonstrating that your stated preferences do not govern their behavior. This is the clearest early signal available, and the one most frequently explained away as persistence rather than recognized as a boundary violation. Warning sign 3. Information they should not have. The stalker references specific details about your life, your schedule, your location, your relationships, your recent activities, that you did not share with them and that they could only know through observation or monitoring. This is the monitoring phase becoming visible. Warning sign 4. Unwanted gifts or deliveries. Items left at your home, workplace, or vehicle. Flowers with no card. Deliveries you did not order. The gift is a demonstration of access. They know where you are and they can reach you there. Warning sign 5. Damage to your property or relationships. Vandalism to your vehicle or home. Contact with your friends, family, or employer. Framed as concern, but designed to isolate you and gather information about your life. Spreading rumors or false information in your social or professional circle. Warning sign 6. Surveillance evidence. Photographs taken of you without your knowledge. Evidence that someone has been reading your messages or monitoring your social media activity closely. A sense that someone knows things about your digital life that you have not publicly shared. Warning sign 7. Direct or indirect threats. These are not always explicit. I just want you to be safe, from someone whose presence already makes you unsafe, is a threat framed as concern. I know where you go, is a threat framed as information. Any statement that implies awareness of your vulnerability or your whereabouts from a person who is already exhibiting the previous 6 signs is a threat regardless of its tone. The 4-step protocol. These steps work in sequence. Do not skip to step 3 because it feels more decisive. The sequence matters. Each step creates the documentation and the infrastructure that makes the next step effective. Step 1. Document everything immediately. From the moment you recognize the pattern, you begin a log. Date, time, location, what happened, any witnesses, any evidence. Photographs, screenshots, voicemails, messages. Every incident documented. Every gift kept and photographed. Every message saved and backed up to a separate device or cloud account. Do not delete anything. Law enforcement and courts need documentation. Not your recollection, documentation. A log that begins the day you recognize the pattern is more credible and more useful than a log that begins after you report. Start today. Step 2. Tell someone you trust. Today. Not to get advice, not to process your feelings. To create a witness who knows the pattern exists. A person who has been told what is happening before any escalation becomes a corroborating witness if the situation reaches law enforcement or a court. They also become a daily check-in contact who will notice if you go silent. Tell one person. Tell them the specific behaviors. Tell them the name or description of the person. Tell them today. Step 3. Report to law enforcement. In every U.S. state, stalking is a criminal offense. File a report even if you believe the individual behavior is not yet criminal. The report creates an official record that is invaluable if the behavior escalates. When you file the report, bring your documentation log, physical or digital. Ask for the report number and keep it. If the officer minimizes your concern, ask to speak to a supervisor or a domestic violence liaison officer. You are entitled to file the report. The documentation you created in Step 1 makes this report credible and actionable. Step 4. Pursue a protective order. A restraining order or protective order creates a legal barrier and legal consequences for continued contact. It also creates a paper trail that significantly changes how law enforcement responds to future incidents. Contact your local court or a victim advocacy organization. The National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233 can connect you with legal resources regardless of whether your situation involves a domestic partner. Most states have a process for temporary protective orders that can be initiated without an attorney. 3 mistakes that make stalking worse, and that well-meaning people make constantly because they feel like the right response. Mistake 1. Confronting the stalker directly. Confrontation communicates engagement. For most stalkers, any contact from the target, including angry or frightened contact, confirms that their behavior is working. It reinforces the behavior rather than ending it. Do not confront. Do not respond. Document and report. Mistake 2. Telling the stalker to stop via any communication channel. Same principle as mistake 1. A message saying, "Please stop contacting me," is contact. It provides the stalker with information about your emotional state and your awareness of them. The only safe communication with a stalker is through law enforcement or the legal process. Mistake 3. Handling it alone because you do not want to overreact. Stalking escalates. The research on stalking incidents is consistent. Early intervention, reporting before escalation, is significantly more effective than reporting after the behavior has become overtly threatening. You are not overreacting. You are documenting a pattern and using the systems that exist exactly for this situation. The risk of underreacting is far greater than the risk of overreacting. 13.5 million Americans are affected by stalking every year. Most of them spend the early phase of it explaining it away and hoping it stops. It almost never stops on its own. The 4 steps: document, tell someone, report, protective order, exist because the behavior responds to documentation and legal consequences, not to hoping or ignoring. If something in this video describes what you are currently experiencing, start the log today. Share this video with one person who needs to hear it. Drop in the comments, which of the 7 warning signs surprised you most? I read every comment. Stay aware, stay safe.